Jones, Pro Football Hall of Famer, top 100.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf from
Nate Burleson. You're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you with another live video, another collaboration. And sorry about the delay. We were just, usual things, technical stuff to work out. But we are here, man. So I'm appreciate all of you guys tuning in. You guys are blowing up the chat, so thank you for doing that. Again, I got my special guest today, Ingraven Vids, coming up in just a moment. So I'm excited to chat with Ingraven about the state of the union over there at Baltimore. But before we get into it, I wanted to at least throw a little Seahawk news update for you guys. Just with training camp. Last week was pretty much training camp, talking all about it was all about COVID testing and all that stuff. So I got a little bit of it'll be real quick headline stuff for the Seahawks training camp. So I'm going to start with, there's some bad news and there's some good news. I want to start with the bad news first. So the bad news is Rashad Penny, not too much of a surprise really though. He'll arrive on Thursday. They're going to put him on the PUP list, which I think was no surprise to anyone as expected. And he will be on the 80-man roster for right now, but the Seahawks will most likely put him on the PUP list for the first 6 games because he's still recovering from that nasty knee injury. So no Rashad Penny for a while, but hopefully he can recover pretty quick here. And then second round draft pick, our rookie defensive end Darrell Taylor was placed on the non-football injury list, so he can continue rehabbing his January 30th surgery that was there to repair a stress fracture in his lower leg. At first I saw this and I was really nervous about this. I thought, oh man, we cannot have another potential pass rusher down for the count, but apparently this is just more of a precautionary thing. I don't think it's going to be too much of an effect on his availability come game time. So fingers crossed, it's just a temporary thing. But we had another rookie, Colby Parkinson, tight end that we drafted, who I was really excited about after the more I read about him. He was also put on the non-football injury list as he had surgery for a broken foot earlier this summer. So that's really kind of the only bad news there, injury related. The rest of it is all pretty good news. The first one is that no COVID-19 cases. With all the cases on the rise going around the country, the Seahawks finished their testing, no COVID-19 cases, which is really good news for the Seahawks. And so now begins the intrigue of where we go from here in training camp. It's going to start with a little bit of conditioning and strength conditioning, that sort of thing. And Pete Carroll was on a press conference today talking about a few highlights, and he said, one, Marquise Blair, if you recall, our second-year player at safeties, he's actually going to compete at the nickel cornerback. So Marquise Blair is going to we didn't run much nickel last year. I think they realized this year they're going to do a little bit more of that, so Marquise Blair is going to be competing at that spot. Jordan Brooks, our first-round pick, linebacker, sounds like he's going to get to start pretty much from the get-go, playing at weak side linebacker, which is kind of KJ Wright's role as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they work out that position. But between Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, and then Jordan Brooks and Bruce Irvin coming back as well, it's going to be interesting to see how they mix this combination of great players at linebacker. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. And Will Dissly, who got injured early in the season with that foot injury. He passed his physical. He's been going aggressive rehab. So it looks like he is so far on track for everything for the season. As you know, I've said so many times in these videos, I am counting on the tight ends to stay healthy this year because I think that's going to make all the difference in this season, assuming we have a season. Finally, Pete Carroll was asked about Josh Gordon and Jamal Adams. First of all, I should say, I'll talk about Josh Gordon in a second. Jamal Adams, he talked about him. At first he said some pretty cool quotes. You can tell he's excited. He said, watch the juice that he brings. Forget about the playmaking stuff. It's that element of his mentality that I love, that primal mentality that this game allows. So he's just as excited, I think, as we are to see what he does out there with that hard-hitting, Cam Chancellor-esque type of hitting that we have not had for a while. So Coach obviously excited about that. And when asked about Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown, a couple players who are trying to get back into football are still on off right now with Antonio Brown, 8-game suspension, and Josh Gordon waiting to get off the commissioner's exempt list. Pete Carroll said if Josh Gordon's available, they would welcome him back. we'd be excited to have him back. And Antonio Brown, he didn't quite commit to as much, saying, well, we'll see. It will be interesting to see where he's at the end of the season, which I've been saying the best time to bring Antonio Brown would be at the end of the season. Of course, it's going to have to be with all these suspensions, at least 8 games, possibly more. So we'll see. But so far, more good news than bad coming into from out of Seahawks training camp as we begin this week here. Jumping right into it. So before I bring my guest on, I just want to say thank you to Blake Morissette for the super chat. He says, is your music vid tomorrow, and what happened to Quentin Dunbar? My music video is not coming out yet. That's going to come out the Blue Friday, the week before the season opener when we play against Atlanta. So it'll be about 9 days before that game when I'm going to have my season 2020 season prediction music video. A lot of work to do on that one, but thanks for asking. I can't wait. It's one of my most popular videos, so it's going to be fun. Definitely looking forward to putting some of these songs that you guys requested. So it's going to be a blast. And what happened to Quentin Dunbar? It's a wait and see game right now. He is allowed to come to training camp, but he can't practice. He can basically just be there and attend meetings and that sort of thing. So we'll see. He may play after all in this crazy saga that's been going on in and out of a courtroom. All right. Well, let's get into it because, man, I've been waiting to talk to this guy for a long time. Ingraven Vids, man, he's been tearing it up, just doing all kinds of things since the last time we talked. And his channel's growing like crazy. And, of course, the Baltimore Ravens had a great season last year. So without further ado, let me bring on my friend here to join me on NorbCam. It's Ingraven Vids. Team, keep it clean. What's up, man? How you doing? Hold on a second. Let me get your volume up. Let me get the volume up. I didn't have you talking. I had no sound. There we go. Ingraven, welcome to the show, man.
How you doing, man? Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching a lot of your videos, and your channel has been growing like crazy, and you're just on it every day. So good for you, man. But it's been like, when we did our last collab was a year ago, back in the fall. I think probably it was right before our little matchup that we had that unfortunately you guys got the best of. But that was a long time ago, man. A lot of things have changed for both teams, right? But before we get into this, I have a lot of things I want to ask you about with 2020 around the corner. But first, for a lot of the people who had not seen your channel yet, obviously check it out. Team hashtag keep it clean. Ingraven's link is in the description as well, so you can find him easy. Ingraven Vids on YouTube. But tell everybody a little bit about your history, man. How did you get to doing this? You know, how long have you been a Ravens fan? You know, for the people who've never met you before, give them the elevator pitch as to who is Ingraven Vids, man.
Well, it's Team Keep It Clean. I'm a Ravens fan, but on my YouTube channel, we just talk football, period. So anybody, any fan of any team is welcome. It's not just all about the Ravens, even though I only want the Ravens to win. It's not all about the Ravens. I've been a Ravens fan for, I don't even know how long. It's been a while, though, because I'm originally from Maryland. And the way that I got into this was I used to make Madden videos. I had a YouTube channel for Madden videos. But one day, I was, me and my wife, we would go to the sports bar to go watch the game, but it was while she was pregnant at the time. She wasn't feeling good. So she was like, we're just going to watch the game from home. And I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. So I watched the game from home. Then I was like, you know what? I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the game, and end up talking about the game. Loved it. And slowly started going away from Madden and more towards talking football. And before I used to just talk Ravens, but then I just started talking about teams in general. When I first started YouTube, Ravens had been just having so much success. They had just come off of their Super Bowl in 2012. So I was just really, really used to doing nothing but winning. I was used to them having all the success in the world every single year, really 5 years straight. So I was on that high, but then in 2013, the year after they won the Super Bowl, they went 8-8 and they missed the playoffs. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of weird because we've been used to winning for so long. So that was the season that really made. Huh?
Yeah, and I'm sorry because 2013. You mentioned 2013. I can't help but say that's the start of our winning time. So winning the Super Bowl that year. So our bliss was your misery, unfortunately, for your after the Super Bowl season. But go ahead. Man.
But that 2013 season, that really made me appreciate football that much more because I really realized, like, hold up, it's not all about the Ravens, and it just made me appreciate what it takes for a football team to be consistently good for a long period of time. But anyway, about 2 years ago, I've been doing this YouTube channel. I've had this one for like maybe like 3-4 years, something like that. But about 2 years ago, I was working my regular job. I was working from, I think, like 10:30 to 7, something like that. And I would make like videos. If some news would break, I would leave my job real quick, go make a video in the car, whether I do a live stream during lunch or a regular video or whatever. I would make a lot of my own breaks. And I love to do that. I had a lot of fun doing it. I did mess up my my time with work a little bit. But anyway, it came to time with my job. They were doing a lot of downsizing. They were doing a lot of cutbacks as far as budget and whatnot. And the department that I worked in, we all got laid off. It was about 12, 13 of us. Because one day we just came into work and they were like, hey, you got laid off? I said, oh, okay, well, I guess it's really time to crank this YouTube thing and really try it out full time and see how it goes. And I always say on my channel, I always talk about how timing is everything. And when they laid me and everybody else off, it was right before football. It was like maybe 2 weeks before football season. So I was like, hey, the timing is now. I guess this is my chance to do it, because I would always tell my wife, like, man, I really feel like I can do this full time, but I just don't have the time. But I feel like I can do it full time. And she was like, hey, if you do it, I'm with it. I support it. I'll rock with it. And she's been doing that. And ever since then, 2 years ago in August, been doing it for full time. So this is my job. This is my, I guess, career, whatever. And it's fun. It is a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun. It obviously has its ups and downs, but it has a lot more ups and downs. And one of my favorite things is just the support, man. For people to genuinely support you and rock with you doing something so different as a full-time job, because obviously this isn't ESPN or anything like that. Who knows where it could go, but this is not that for now. But that's been my favorite aspect of the whole thing, just meeting and talking to fans of every single different team, just the interaction. And again, on the channel is Team Keep It Clean. And what that means is that it's a channel for everybody. It's family friendly, so nobody has to worry about, oh man, is it going to be all this cursing? Oh man, is it going to be all this derogatory language or negative or this or that? It's just something for everybody. Everybody can come on there and vibe and have a good time, man.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I remember you telling me your story, which is great, because I know you've got a child. I can't remember, a boy or a girl?
Boy,
Carter. Oh, boy, okay. Yeah, and he's a couple years old as well?
Yeah, he's 5. He's
5 years old. That's right. So you already had your son before you went full time with YouTube. That's great, man, because I know when you're a dad, it's just that much more responsibility where you got to keep that bread on the table, because it's not just yourself, it's not just your wife, but it's a third mouth to feed there. So good on you, man, for being able to make this work. And it's great. I know a lot of people are big fans. If you can see in the comments, in the chat, people are a lot of big fans of yours. I think you brought a few people over here too, but I know a lot of the same people who watch me also follow you. So it's cool. And it's great to be able to do a collab like this, man, because I think we have that in common. There's a lot of guys out there who, there's a lot of trash talking, there's a lot of dropping F-bombs and all that kind of stuff. And I think you and I are probably a couple of the few who don't do it. And that's one thing I know I definitely hold a strict code to, because most of my viewers, a lot of them are teenagers or younger, and I've found that out the more I run into people at CenturyLink Field saying, "Oh, my son or my daughter watches you all the time." It's "Oh, who's your son? Oh, he's right over here. He's 10 years old." I was like, "Oh, okay. It's a good thing I was, not cursing up a storm, or the mom probably wouldn't be too happy with me." So I know. I think probably does having a kid kind of do the same thing for you?
Yeah, because you do. You meet a lot of people just of all ages, and for me, I just feel like, just all the cursing and all that. I mean, the people gonna curse, that's cool, whatever, but that's just not my style, and I just feel like it's unnecessary. Because again, like people of all ages, when you meet them in person, like that happened to me a lot. If I go up there, go to the games or whatnot, because and it just like, if you're meeting somebody that supports you, somebody that rocks with you, especially like you said, if you might be meeting a parent or something like that. That can just increase the level of respect both ways, but especially from them to you, if they know that you may be more approachable that way too. Because if they're watching your videos and you're doing all this cursing, doing all this, you're so angry and if they see you in person, they may be like, I don't know if I want to talk to them. I don't know if I really want to meet them like that. And not that you're a celebrity or anything like that, but it's nice to engage with people that support your work. So That's what I say with the just keeping it clean, man. It's just I love it. I know it's a lot of people that I've come across, whether it's subscribers that, why you keep it clean, man? For what? And say, okay, whatever. If you don't like it, don't watch. Like straight up. But and I do talk my trash a little bit here and there, but it's clean trash. I guess it's recycled if that's clean trash. But anyway, but we have a lot of fun on there regardless, man. We have a whole lot of fun on there. Doing the live streams like this, doing the videos, we just have a blast, man. We have a blast year round too, because it's not just during football season. It's year round. Even when it's slow season for football, we still putting in a lot of work, man. So it's been fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, well, let's get into it here. Get into some talk here because I know everybody wants to know a little bit. What are we going to talk about football wise?
All right.
Well, I want to start out with probably the biggest, latest news everybody was kind of reacting to, which was the NFL Top 100. Obviously, it's kind of cool that we're talking here because we got the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks. Actually, not just quarterbacks. Number 1 and number 2 best in the NFL as chosen by their peers. I want to start off with just asking you, when you found out, were you really expecting it or were you surprised? What was kind of your reaction? Because I definitely had my reaction when I found out Russell Wilson was number 2. But where was your standpoint? Because he was the MVP last year, so I can understand the expectations would be kind of high. But where were you at, given everything that happened between the Super Bowl and everything like that?
It was a bit of both because while I did expect him to get number 1, at the same time I was like, I know NFL and know everybody's really in love with Patrick Mahomes, which I can understand why, because Patrick Mahomes is nice. And I'm like, man, he's coming off of that Super Bowl, so but I still felt like I thought Mahomes was going to end up being number 2 and Lamar was going to be number 1. But even when it came out that Mahomes was number 4, I was like, whoa. Okay. So I started I got a lot more excited for this than I thought I would get. And then at number 3, when they announced Aaron Donald, I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's just 2 left. It's Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson, one of those 2. And I know Russell Wilson was in the MVP conversation for a whole lot of people. Some people even felt like he should have won an MVP. But I'm like, Lamar got the MVP. Lamar ended up winning it, and I understand why he won it. So I'm like, Lamar, he should get this. And oh wow, the donations ended up being green and blue Seahawks colors. That worked out.
That's right, baby.
That's cool.
Speaking of, Sea Iron Addict on the super chat says, "Tell Ingraven Big Truz." Is that one of your guys? Is that one of your guys, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, hey, you brought some people over to my side. I appreciate that. And then Jetfire97 says, hey, I'm subbed to both of you as a Baltimore native who likes the Seahawks. This is an awesome collab. I still want to see a Ravens versus Seahawks Super Bowl. We'll get to that in a second.
I'm with it, man.
Yeah, man. But come on, man. I'm sure once you saw Mahomes when he went at number 4, come on, man. You must have already went, Lamar's getting number 1, man. I mean, who else would have been number 1, man? Come on.
I was thinking it, but I was like, I don't know, man, because NFL sometimes they pull some funny stuff. It might be some funny business going on. So I was like, I wasn't 1,000% sure. I was just thinking, he should get it, but I don't know. But then when they announced Russell Wilson at 2, oh man, I started going crazy. Like we had not as crazy as I would have won if we won a Super Bowl, but I was celebrating like crazy, man, because I'm like, this has been the biggest thing. Even though it's just a list, it ain't really that serious, but it's still fun. So I had a lot of fun celebrating that Lamar was at number 1. And this was actually the first NFL Top 100 list that I watched in a while because I really stopped watching them recently. But I watched this one and I was paying attention and I was like, okay, let's go. I was hyped. And I was like, okay, he got what he deserved because I do feel like he was the best player overall in the NFL last year. He was NFL the top player in the NFL last year. He was the number 1 guy. So I was like, okay, he got what he deserved, man. So I was with it.
Yeah, well, congratulations, man. I know that even though this doesn't really mean anything in the regard that, like you said, the one award accolade that you really want to have is that Super Bowl MVP, because
Right.
you know that nothing gets better than that. That means you're world champs, and your guy got the job done and was considered the best guy on the field on that day. So I think you and I are both hoping that our number one or our number two will become that, because both of them have not had that yet. So it's going to be the thing that we'll be shooting for all this time. I know there's a lot of people. It's interesting because if you win it, or like in our case, I predicted Russell Wilson. I said, I'd like to see Russell Wilson go number 3, because my thought was it was going to be Mahomes number 1 and Lamar Jackson number 2 and Seattle number 3. And when I saw that Mahomes dropped to 4, I was like, oh, okay, that could be really interesting here, you know?
Yeah,
But so I'm not surprised at all once Mahomes did drop. And so I'm more than thrilled to see Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson, man, he hasn't had an MVP vote in his entire career. Can you believe that, man? Not a single
that's crazy,
one.
man.
And he's the number 2 player in the league, as voted on by his peers. So that still blows my mind. I still think he should at least have got 1 vote last year. I mean, come on, Lamar was good, but you know, Russell Wilson was carrying the world on his shoulders last year. But hey, you know, it is what it is. But it's just funny because I know a lot of people who, when their player doesn't get in the list where they believe it should, they just completely say this whole thing is messed up. It doesn't. It's all you know, rigged and all this stuff. But when your guy does get into it, you kind of go, "This is pretty cool, man. I love finally a recognition that truly, you know, determines what a player got." But number 1, number 2, I'll take that happily. For this case, I'd like to see a Super Bowl and flop those numbers. But let's see. We got a few things to get to before then, man. Okay, so we talked already a little bit about the top 100. So I want to back up a little bit and go to a place where you probably don't want to talk too much about, but I got to ask you because we didn't talk since last
let's talk
time.
about it, man.
You guys got knocked out of the playoffs last year when I think a lot of people thought you were going to be at least in the AFC Championship, if not in the Super Bowl. I was talking Seahawks Ravens potential Super Bowl back then, even when Russell and Lamar were both in the MVP race for a while, and Mahomes got hurt, you know, and so but obviously everything changed. But it wasn't the Chiefs who had anything to do with you guys not getting there. You never got to that game. Tell me what happened. Explain to me what went wrong for the Ravens, who looked unstoppable until that game.
I feel like they just set themselves up for failure, because they went into the playoffs. They obviously broke so many different rushing records from last season. That was their bread and butter. That was the strength of their team, was the run game. Everybody knew about the run game. Everybody knew, hey, Ravens are going to run it. They're going to run. But a lot of teams most teams still didn't stop it. So then the Ravens, they go into the playoff game, and I'm thinking, okay, let's go. I know Titans are a similar team. They like to use the run game a lot. Run game sets up the play action pass, which the Titans love to do a lot. But hey, our run game is stronger. Our team is stronger. We got this. We're good to go. Even though I still did have a funny feeling in my system, because I went to the game and I had a little funny feeling, but I was like, that'll go away because we're going to take care of business. But they went into the game and they did not run the ball. They ran with Mark Ingram, who was hurt. They ran with him 6 times, and with Gus Edwards, who was healthy, who's our backup running back, but he's been a starter before. They ran him 3 times, and one of those runs was for 18 yards, I believe. But they had Lamar Jackson. I think he threw the ball like 59 times, and it's like they went away from what got them there. They went completely away from their strategy, and I'm like what are you doing? Why would you do that? It didn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense. But and of course, Titans, they just capitalized on everything. Ravens had a couple of turnovers on downs. They had interceptions. They had everything, man. And for me, it started with coaching. Coaching did not put them in a good position to succeed. And then there was some execution problems too, because they were like everybody except Hollywood Brown, who was a rookie, who was an injured rookie playing on a bad foot. Everybody besides him was just dropping the ball. Everybody was dropping the ball. And one thing just led to several others, and they ended up getting that exit right away. So hopefully this year to be different.
Well, and you didn't really mention either. The Titans had a certain running back who was kind of tearing it up last year.
That was a big part of it.
Derrick Henry. He had a lot to do with knocking a lot of teams out of there.
There was some big runs that he got on us. Now, for a good amount of the game, we were holding them in check, but those big runs, they hurt bad, man. They hurt really bad. And he's a beast, man. He's a beast. I remember after the game, he was just running around celebrating, and everybody, oh, King Henry, King Henry. And they did their thing, man. They really did do their thing. But and Ryan Tannehill, got to give him credit too. Because Ryan Tannehill, just like Lamar Jackson, a lot of times throughout the regular season last year, Ryan Tannehill, throughout the regular season, but in that playoff game too, was extremely efficient. So he made the most of not that many passes, and of course, Derrick Henry set up a lot of the run game. And I think Derrick Henry, he even threw a touchdown pass too. So he even got involved
the
in
jump pass. Yeah, right.
It was rough, man, but it's all good. Hopefully the coaching and everything, hopefully everybody learned from their mistake, and they won't forget what got them there in the first place, and don't forget about the run game.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of other super chats. Jetfire97 says, both teams lost divisionals last season. The wild card the year before. Seahawks and Ravens are moving up one match each year. # get ready. That's a good point, man. We had exits at the same time. So, and then now, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, number 1 and number 2. I mean, Lamar Jackson wasn't even on the top 100 last year, was he?
Not at all.
So he didn't even he went from not zero. He went from over 100 to 1, and Wilson was, I think, at 25 or 26, one of the two, to number 2. So big jumps for all involved, which does set up a very interesting season for this year. I got to recognize a couple other super chats that have been piling up here. Thank you guys for the support. But Jermaine Milner, what's up, guys? # team keep it clean. Baby Be More 16-0, LOL. Is this one of your guys too?
Hey, let's get it. Yeah, Jermaine's my guy, man.
Nice. Thanks for coming on my channel and supporting both of us, man. I appreciate it. Who else we got here? We got Unix Format, always a big supporter of mine. I love it. At Jetfire97 says, bring it on, man. It should be a lot of fun. We're waiting for the rematch. Go Hawks. Well, if we're going to have a rematch, it's going to have to be in the Super Bowl because I don't think you and our teams are having any scheduled games coming up here. So if it is a rematch, it's going to be a Super Bowl 55 rematch for sure. Sam Dog, the infamous 253 in the Super Chat. Sam Dog, Ingraven Vids, collab soon. # keep it clean. Yeah, man. Sam Dog, a big buddy, friend of mine. We always try to meet up before games. A passionate fan, man. Good guy.
He got that section right at the the lower end zone, the corner.
Yeah, the south end of the stadium, down at the corner where the team comes out. He high fives the teams, the players every time. And not a lot of people know this, but Sam Dog's got his personalized jersey. Sam Dog in the back, and it was getting a little ratty. And so Pete Carroll noticed this, and at one of the games, he actually gave Sam Dog a brand new custom jersey, a new Sam Dog, the new style jersey with his name on it. Personally given to him from Pete Carroll. That's pretty awesome, man. So I can't even say that, man. That's pretty awesome. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a good guy, and Sam's presence is definitely felt down there. So Deuce of Hazard in the Super Chat says, I'm late. Is that Martin as a mod? Yes, Martin is a mod. Seahawks Martin, one of the regulars on my show. We missed you, Martin, but we're going to get you this week for sure. So, all right, that's all the super chats. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Every little bit of support is greatly appreciated. So, we talked about last year. Last year is in the past. I just wanted to kind of hear you get some of those thoughts / excuses for what happened. We all have them, because if you didn't win the big one, there's always someone's fault, and you'd like to blame it on you don't usually give all the credit to the other team. You blame yourself. For instance, coaching, it was execution, it was this. Bottom line is we didn't get it done this year. I'd like to see us get to at least the NFC AFC championships and a chance for that rematch that we've been talking about. So let's talk a little bit now to this year, the offseason. It's been a crazy offseason, I think, for both teams. But talk about what has been your biggest offseason improvement and what's been the biggest offseason loss for the Ravens.
I think Ravens, their biggest improvement is probably the defensive line. With the additions of Calais Campbell. That's a huge addition, literally and figuratively. Derek Wolfe, who used to be on the Broncos, And then they brought back Justin Ellis and Jihad Ward. Those aren't household names that a lot of people will know. And then they drafted Justin Madubuike, and so that they really and they still have Brandon Williams too. So they really solidified their defensive line. They beefed them up, made them stronger to both help with setting the edge, because that was a problem for the Ravens all throughout last year, despite all the success. And improving the interior pass rush. I think that's been one of the biggest things that they improved on too, because I think they wanted to be able to create pressure right up the middle, because that's something that they've lacked for a while now, man, just to consistently get that pressure. So that's been the biggest improvement. Biggest loss? Wow. That is biggest loss, Marshall Yonder. All right, guard, future Hall of Famer, all pro. That's been the biggest loss, because he created a big hole at a position that we've known for years, like, oh, that's taken care of. Right guard, oh, it's Marshall Yonder. He got it. We ain't got to worry about it. But now he has to be replaced. And we don't expect somebody to come in and be Marshall Yonder, to be as good as he was. That'd be nice. We wouldn't complain if we got it, but we don't have that expectation. So whether it's going to be DJ Fluker, who came from the Seahawks, or it's going to be one of the young guys, we just got to wait and see. But that would be the biggest loss. All right, guard Marshall Yonder.
You brought up DJ Fluker, and I just kind of caught wind of the story fairly recently. But, man, it's like players in the off-season, off the field, making the news. But DJ Fluker, probably one of the biggest human beings you'll ever meet, ever see. His foot is like this big, and it's just a hulk, a monster of a man. But yet he was involved in a domestic violence incident. Strangely, he was not the one instigating the violence. I think it was his wife or girlfriend. I'm not sure if it was wife or girlfriend, but punched him in the face, and he was all bloody and posted, and she got arrested. Man, and I know Earl Thomas got into some stuff in the offseason too as well.
You know what? You know what I just realized now that you brought that up?
Oh my God, these are like Seahawks,
man. They come over to the Ravens, and it just, I don't know, man.
Hey, but you guys have had your own issues with certain players who have had issues before the Seahawks, so don't put that all on the Seahawks, man. But yeah, you're right. But yeah, kind of strange though. These are a couple of guys though you don't normally had not heard from. I mean, Earl Thomas, he was squeaky clean. We didn't hear a thing about him off the field, and then that whole thing happened. And then this thing with DJ Fluker, it's just strange. But I don't know. Your thoughts on that? Do you give them much thoughts when you hear about these things off the field, or do you kind of just try to stick with more of the football side? What do you think when stories like this come out? Because it seems like there's just a lot of it happening these days. But obviously, there's lots to jump on it.
I think with the whole quarantine and all that's been going on, it hasn't helped a lot of people, because it's thrown a lot of people off of their normal routine. And when people don't like change. And when you throw change at somebody, that can sort of set them off in more ways than one. And with a lot of people being home more, it's nice. You get to be with the family more and stuff, get to spend more time and whatnot. But for some people, in some situations, that could end up working out for the worst. Now with DJ Fluker, much props to him, man, because we're so used to hearing these stories on the opposite end, where it's the football player that's doing the abuse and whatnot. And I don't think it's right for anybody to abuse anybody. Nobody should be hitting anybody, none of that stuff. But I was very I was happy to hear that he, and when we saw the video and whatnot, she's like hitting them and punching them in the face and in the nose and all that. And like this, like you said, he's a big guy. Like I just read something today from it was a press conference from the Ravens strength and conditioning coach. He said today was the first day that he saw DJ Fluker in person. And he said it was like when DJ Fluker walked past him, it was like an eclipse, because he was just that big. And you can see from pictures that this dude is huge, and he's obviously an NFL offensive lineman, so he comes with a lot of strength too. So he could have easily, he's obviously much stronger than his girlfriend is. But for him, it takes a different kind of strength for him to hold back and not end up not hitting them. And I was real proud of him, man. Because like I said, you hear so many of these stories and you hear with the players and stuff, you hear it on the opposite end. And then with Earl Thomas, that was just a mess. But I just hope that for both of them and just anybody going through that, I just hope that the situations can get resolved and they can get peace, man. They can get peace within themselves. They can get peace with their families. And then with the children, too, because that's something scary to think about, too, because the children, they see all this stuff. Children are smarter now more than ever. They pick up on this stuff. They know the vibes and whatnot. So I just feel bad for just everybody involved, but just hope that moving forward, like I said, they can all just get peace, man.
Yeah. Well, and it also just shows it doesn't matter how rich you are or how famous or a celebrity you are. Everybody's got their things, right? Everyone's got their issues, their skeletons in the closet. And unfortunately, when you are in that limelight, your skeletons get a big old flashlight, big old spotlight on it whenever you step out of the line that most people would not, you never hear about. So, yeah, it's they just... Yeah, hopefully they can get things worked out, and that way all we do is talk about what happens on the field. CIZ in the super chat says, "Man, I'm still thinking." That's one of yours. Man, I'm still thinking back to how we got Marcus Peters for a backup linebacker and a 4th round pick.
Yeah, man, that was great.
You know, sometimes some deals are made that shock you, and then there's some deals that are made that more than shock you. I've got one I've been talking quite a bit about, but before I even mention that one, were there any big off-season deals for the Ravens that really just were like, wow, eye-opening, just like, oh man, I can't believe we pulled that off? Any eye-turning, head-turning ones like that?
We got Marcus Peters for the 5th round pick, and like you said, the backup linebacker during the regular season. And his first game was against the Seahawks, so good timing. But we got Calais Campbell. They traded for Calais Campbell, and they gave the Jaguars a 5th round pick for him. So to get a player of Calais Campbell, and the Jaguars, they were most likely going to cut him. So Ravens were probably like, you know what, let's offer him something so we don't have to compete with anybody for his services. But still, to get a player of that caliber for a 5th round pick, that was great, man. I was so hyped when we got Calais because I love Calais Campbell, man. And I've liked him ever since he was on the Cardinals, but definitely when he was on the Jaguars. And for us to get a player that just commands respect both on and off the field, I'm like, man, that's perfect, man. We get a good player, and I think he's making like $15 million a year, something like that. He's a little expensive, but I think that's gonna definitely be worth it, man. So that was the offseason move that was really like, whoa. Yeah,
well, and we definitely had our whoa moment a little over a week ago when we got Jamal Adams here. I'm not sure how many times you guys played. Did you ever play Jamal Adams? Did you face the Jets when Jamal Adams was on there? Did you guys ever have that?
I don't think so. Or did we? Oh, no, we just played the Jets last year. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we beat them like... It was a blowout. It was a big blow. Yeah, we played them last year on a Thursday Night Football. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, okay. I'm just curious if if you had any thoughts on Jamal Adams, because there's been a lot of talk. Did we give up too much for him? Or is he worth every bit? In his weight in gold. The more I looked at this deal, the more I've really loved it and looking forward to seeing him on the field. Even though we gave up a truckload of stuff to get him. Sometimes some players, to get the best of the leagues, you got to give up a lot to get them. And so at this point, since I got nothing else to do than accept it, the more I look at it, the more I'm really excited about it. But I'm just curious what your impressions were of Jamal Adams in that trade.
Yeah. I remember watching one of your videos from a couple of days ago where you were talking about that, and you say you get what you pay for, especially when it comes to players. And Seahawks, they did give up it was 2 first-round picks,
2 first-rounders and a
third-round pick, right?
And Bradley McDougall.
So
yeah, the kid. Yep.
Oof, that is a lot, but it's like, man, maybe the Seahawks were thinking like, hey, you know what? Let's give these guys a deal that they can't refuse. I'm not sure how long they were in talks with the Jets for. I don't know if they had been negotiating for a little while. But that was a lot. But you're getting you're getting a great player, man. You're getting a great player. You're getting a sure thing player. And even though some people don't like looking at it this way, and it can sort of feel like a cop out, but with first round, with draft picks, period. With the first round, seventh round, whatever, with draft picks, you just never know. You never know. This guy could have been a stud in college. He could have been ranked the #1 player in the NCAA, then gets to the NFL and it's a complete flop. But with Jamal Adams, you've already seen what he's been doing for 3 years. You know what he's capable of. You know his, and this guy, I don't even think he's in his prime yet, man, to be honest. But with that, you get a sure thing. And yeah, you gave up a first round pick. You gave up 2 first round picks. But if you want to like feel better about it, you can say maybe those will be. Maybe they'll be like high second round picks because we always expect Seattle Seahawks to be in the playoffs and be successful, man. So you expect those to be in the low 20s, and hopefully for you guys' sake, it could be at pick number 31.
32. 32. I like 32.
we got to get that 32nd pick. But they did give up a lot and a player too, and Bradley McDougal. But You did get a sure thing, man. So I feel like this was really a win-win for both teams. Cause at least you got a 4th round pick back. Cause you got Jamal Adams in the 4th. You gave up 3 picks in the play, but still, you got a sure thing. And what you're getting a sure thing, it's nothing like that. Because with the draft, like I said, there's just so much risk with every single round, with every single player. Obviously, the higher the draft pick, the higher the risk, because you're more financially invested in those players. But you got a sure thing. So I feel like both sides really came out winners on this trade.
Yeah, hopefully ours translates into some wins and results immediately. Obviously, the Jets will have to wait till they draft next year and see what happens with that. But we get the short-term joy of seeing this happen now, and hopefully it translates into pick number 32 next year. But Unix Format in the Super Chat says, is bang bang even a thing? I see those -3 +1 Niners in here getting comfy. I welcome all fans. I don't care how much we might despise each other's teams, but man, like Ingraven said, man, it's all about, there's a collaboration between here as we're rivals of each other, and come game day, if we do face each other, man, we're gonna have fire in our eyes looking at the color purple for us, like it was last year. But when it comes down to it, we're just guys who love the game and love our teams and all that. So, but thanks Unix Format for the super chat. I want to ask you real quick, you've got one of the members of our Legion of Boom who, for the longest time, I think everybody hoped he retires as Seahawk, Earl Thomas. We talked about him earlier, but I think you did a video about him being the number 10th ranked safety. Was that what he ended up being? And I'm just curious. People still talk about how they wish they had Earl Thomas back here. Oh, we should never let him leave. Oh, if we had Earl Thomas back there, then we'd have this and that. Earl Thomas, Jamal Adams. You have Earl Thomas. How do you feel? Do you still feel the love of having Earl Thomas? Is he still what he was, or is he just a different version now that he's an older, not maybe as fast Earl Thomas, the one that we fell in love with?
He is definitely older, and he was coming off of his broken leg from the previous year. Earl Thomas, for the Ravens, he's been really good. He's been really good, and it's just been 1 year. I know for the Seahawks, I think you guys run a cover 3, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but he had played for the Seahawks for 9 years, and first year comes over to the Ravens, and he's playing in this brand new defense for the very first time, very first new defense in his NFL career. And it's a very complex system, because I remember for Eric Weddle, he was our last free safety that we had. Took him 3 years to really get the whole thing down. So with Earl Thomas, last year, he didn't make all the interceptions in the world. And I know with a lot of Ravens fans, they felt like Earl Thomas didn't have a good season. He had a bad season. And I think with NFL players, they have one of the toughest jobs in the world, because everything that they do with their job is publicized. Everything, how much they get paid, and obviously their body of work, because we watch the games every week. So a lot of people feel like Earl Thomas was a bit overpaid. I do think that the Ravens did overpay for him a little bit. But the same thing I said about the Seahawks with their offer to Jamal Adams, I think the Ravens really just wanted to give Earl Thomas a deal that he couldn't refuse, since he was getting ready to sign with the Chiefs for like a 1 year, $8 million deal, something like that. So the Ravens swooped in and they got him, gave him a 4 year, $55 million deal with like $33 or $35 million guaranteed. Big money. But while he didn't get all of the sexy numbers last year, he held down his side of the field. He did not give up much, didn't give up many completions, didn't give up many yards, and I expect him to take another leap forward this year. I expect him to have an even better year. I do expect him to give up a few more yards because I think he'll take a few more chances because he'll be in this system for another year, and he'll be another year more comfortable in the Ravens defense with Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator. So he'll be a little more lax and whatnot, and he'll be able to take his angles a little better because that's something that he struggled a little bit with last year from time to time. And though with Earl Thomas, I think a big problem. I'm not sure how much he did it in Seattle, but obviously being a Ravens fan and paying a lot more attention to them than anybody, Earl Thomas, he gives you a lot of quotes, a lot of headline quotes, and he talked about he said that he talked about who the Ravens were going to be playing in the Super Bowl, whoever plays us, some, and we obviously didn't make it there. He talked about Derrick Henry, how so many people are just afraid to tackle him, and we saw what happened in that playoff game, especially that highlight with Earl Thomas specifically.
Yeah, that was not good.
But I think that's what's been a lot of Ravens fans' problem. Earl Thomas just running his mouth a little bit too much. But I'm looking forward to Earl Thomas this year, especially because, like I said, he'll be even more comfortable in the system. So he's been good already, but I expect him to take another leap forward and be even better because he's obviously a very good safety. He was great over there with the Seahawks, and a lot of people thought he was the best safety since Ed Reed. And with Ravens fans, it can be anybody who plays safety. It's going to be hard for them because they're always going to get compared to Ed Reed. No matter how long Ed Reed retired, no matter how long ago Ed Reed retired, they're always going to be compared to Ed Reed, and it sucks for them because since Ed Reed was so great, everybody that follows him is just, like I said, they're going to get compared to him. But Earl Thomas, he did really good last year, so I think he's going to do even better this year too, man.
We got CIZ. I don't know if that's CIZ or CIZ in the super chat. Do you smell what the XFL is cooking? I think you talked about that. Yeah, the big news earlier that the Dwayne The Rock Johnson bought up the XFL. So I guess the XFL looked like it was kind of falling off the map again, and here he is reviving it. That's kind of an interesting move. Pretty big celebrity name in there. That's going to be interesting to see what. So I guess it's down but not out. They got this fresh new life to it. So I guess we'll see what they decide to do after the NFL does their season. So interesting wrinkle in things. It's funny that you brought up Earl Thomas doing all that talking, because when he was with the Seahawks, he didn't talk that much. I think he had Richard Sherman doing all the talking, so he kind of just stood back. Richard Sherman sort of just spoke for everybody because he was like the quiet guy. He was one of those guys, they said he was just like the quiet guy who just let his actions do the talking. So it's funny that he went to Baltimore and obviously started running his mouth more. But maybe running up a little bit too much. But anyway, so now we talked about the offseason. We talked a little bit about last year, but now let's get into this season for our last segment here. 2020. I know you were like Earl Thomas was talking about. I'm sure lots of people in Baltimore had their sights on the Super Bowl. 2020 now got a little humbled by what happened last year. What's your expectations for the Ravens this year?
Expectation is Super Bowl win, and it's not even just speaking as a Ravens fan, but just seeing everything that they did this offseason, the way that they made a really good team, a really successful team last year, even better. So I expect, and with Lamar, I know all the talk is Lamar Jackson 0-2 in the playoffs, and hey, that's what it is right now. He is 0-2 in the playoffs, but if you watch his first playoff game to his second playoff game, it's a drastic improvement. So I expect there to be another drastic improvement, and for him to get that first playoff win of his career this season, then get another one, and end up going to the Super Bowl. So those are the expectations from most Ravens fans, man. I know a lot of Ravens fans are scared. They're worried that that coaching is just gonna end up messing up, just coming up short in the playoffs, like it has been the past 2 years. But I'm just hoping that the third time's a charm, man. And so they got to get that thing right, man. But it takes a collective effort from everybody. So yeah, my expectations is Super Bowl, man.
All right, I have another question to ask on that, but another way. But Unix format, just blowing it up today, says to you, Ingraven Vids, we need you on the stream more. I like the synergy, more collabs or sports talk with Norb. Please go Hawks. So
I appreciate that, UNS. Thank you, man.
They want to see you and I doing more videos together. So if it's okay with you, we will do this a little bit more often. Then we don't have to wait a year to do it, man. All right, so finish this sentence. I already know your Super Bowl expectations. The Baltimore Ravens will win the Super Bowl if I want you to finish this sentence. The Baltimore Ravens will win the Super Bowl if.
You there?
Oh, did I lose? Am I not there? Hello? Can you hear me, man? No? Oh, live TV, gotta love it. I'm still here, man. I can hear you. You can't hear me? All right, let me type the question. Oh, there he goes. Let me try to get him back here. Oh, there's nothing great like live TV messing up your when the internet goes crazy. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can get him back. Well, that was scary. I was just going to ask him a Super Bowl question, then he's gone. Maybe he didn't want to answer it. Let's see if I can get him back on here. Come on, Ingraven. Come on, internet. Don't fail me now. Did I lose the internet here? Is that what's going on? I don't know if you guys can still see me. On my end, my internet's completely dead. So according to Ingraven, I'm still streaming, but I can't even see anything. I thought I was completely disconnected because my computer says no internet. Wow. You guys still see me out there? Ingraven, am I actually still broadcasting? Like you guys actually hear me talking? Good thing I wasn't picking my nose or anything like that. I'm still up. Wow, that's crazy. It's a good thing I wasn't like cursing and freaking out because according to my screen, it's still dead. Well, unfortunately, though, I can't get Ingraven back because, well, let's see if I can. Trying again. Maybe it was just down for a few minutes. Boy, nothing like good old Comcast. Xfinity, man. So I'm trying to call Ingraven back, but it's still saying that it's down. Well, this is what I'm going to do because Ingraven, I can't get. You know what? Let's do this. All right, let me see if I can do this old school style. I'm going to get him on this screen right here because I can't get him on my computer. Maybe I can do it this way. This is crazy, man. My whole computer system has gone down. I can't Skype you. I can't even see my own feed, but apparently I'm still broadcasting.
Yeah, he's still live, man.
Man, I had no idea. I was thinking the whole thing was down. It was a good thing I wasn't caught doing something silly. All right, so, but I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to finish the game. So we still got Ingraven right here. It's just going to be a cheaper version of him. But we were almost done. We almost made it to the end. But hey, man, what I wanted to say was I wanted you to finish a couple sentences for me. And that was the Ravens will win the Super Bowl if. So say that sentence and finish it for me, man.
If they don't beat themselves and they just if they stick to who they are, that will be it. If they stick to who they are.
Okay, which I guess answers the same question as the Ravens will win the Super Bowl. Is there a different answer to that, or is it the same answer basically?
Yeah, that's the same one, man. Same one. If they stick to who they are, if they stick to their identity.
All right. I was going to say, the way I'd finish that is they'll win the Super Bowl if Lamar Jackson stays healthy all year. They won't win the Super Bowl if Lamar Jackson doesn't stay healthy all year. To me, he's kind of like Russell Wilson, man. If those guys don't finish the season, it's like they kind of live and die with those guys. But would you agree? I mean, our quarterback's got to be there.
I mean, yeah, you can say that for a lot of not every quarterback, but for enough quarterbacks, yeah. But yeah, definitely those two for sure.
Definitely, I think definitely our teams. You know, there's some teams with defenses that can just get things done without too much offensive help. I don't know if we're definitely not one of those teams yet, but who knows? Maybe with Jamal Adams we'll be getting there. Anyway, man, that was pretty much it. So I'm sorry for the abrupt cutoff. I don't know what happened. Some virus took over, coronavirus for computers or something. Just totally knocked my system out. But here we are finishing it up, man. Just a little last bit. Make sure that if you guys like what you see here for both of our channels, again, you can see Ingraven on his channel, Ingraven Vids. The link is in the description. And for my video as well, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps us out. Hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you won't miss a single video in the future. So, man, I just want to thank my guest, Ingraven Vids, for being here today, man, and being my guest. And thanks for making some time for me today. I appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you for that a lot, man. Shout out to all your subscribers. Shout out to all the team Keep It Clean that came through, showing love and support, man. So I appreciate it a lot, man.
All right, Ingraven. So thank you so much, and yes, thanks to all of you guys for those who, especially those who super chatted, and I always appreciate that support. And for those who came from Ingraven's channel to come to mine, appreciate you guys too. So sounds like we got to do this again, man. Sounds like we need to be backed by popular demand.
Yeah, I'm down for sure, man.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks again. We will talk to you guys later.
All right, man.
All right. Go Hawks, baby.